We gotta talk about my friend. We gotta talk about my bald head ass friend. Holy. Y'all fave motherfucking drag queen. Y'all know I don't like this bitch. Y'all know I don't like this melanemic adjacent ass bitch now, honey. With them big ass veneers. Y'all know I don't like her ass. Honey. Mm. I don't watch this fucking show either. But when I saw this shit, I was appalled. This drag race foolery. Listen to this bullshit, bitch. Girl, honey. Can't stand RuPaul phony ass bitch. Oh.
Ladykins, America's next drag superstar needs to have all the right moves. So, for today's mini challenge, we're going to celebrate a queer art form. Yes, yes, yes. We are throwing ourselves a Harlem Vogue ball, darling. I am looking for popping, dipping, and spinning shablam. Fear all of it, darlings. You've got 15 minutes to get into quick voguing drag. So don't just stand there. Let's get to it.
Pop, dip, shablam. I had to bring that bald head bitch up on the screen, honey, so y'all could see in real life that bitch was saying shablam, honey, and that I wasn't doing no low key editing, bitch. Somebody come get y'all motherfucking drag grandma. They ain't never gonna let me in Hollywood. They ain't never gonna let me in Hollywood. They ain't never gonna let me in Hollywood. And if they do, bitch, I'm gonna be motherfucking barred. Gonna have restraining orders. It's not gonna be a pretty sight. It's not gonna be a pretty sight. So many celebrities I can't stand, and they be queer black ones too. All skin folk and kinfolk, bitch. Honey. This guy nerves to be the biggest black queer in America, but of course the biggest black queer in America would be a coon, wouldn't it? Makes all the sense. This is how I feel in a nutshell about the whole motherfucker tea, about the whole idea of
We are throwing ourselves a Harlem Vogue.
How I feel about the whole idea of them doing anything Vogue on motherfucking Drag Race, bitch. Ugh, I can't stand these queens. Let me make sure we got the best quality for this edit.
We are throwing ourselves a Harlem Vogue ball. Check it.
And we created a word and it's called nogging.
I didn't do like ballroom.
I just learned this choreography today and I don't know what voguing is. So it came off very nogging and not like genuine.
Somebody's got to get these kids together.
I was gagging.
Yeah. That was terrible.
And not in a good way. I didn't like it at all. It's a 3.
We are throwing...
Bitch, it ain't even a 3. Girl, it's a motherfucking chop. It's a chop to all the queens involved, and it's a chop to RuPaul. I done told y'all bitches 150 million times. We need to implement a motherfucking rule. If these hoes don't have no real ballroom experience, no real ballroom ties, if they've never taken a class, if they haven't been taught how to Vogue by a legend or an icon, then bitch, you can't Vogue for money. Girl, No, cancel these hoes. And when you bitches go on Drag Race, if you don't have no ballroom experience, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And you tell RuPaul that. You get out there and you kiki and you do some dance shit that you know how to do, bitch. Now, honey, that bitch is already canceled. Honey, the show ain't gonna last much longer. The only reason we letting the show breathe this season, bitch, is because they didn't let Maddie on there. Bitch, shout out to my sis, T.S. Madison. Holy. This also pretty much sums up what I was thinking. What Gravity had to say. Gravity, y'all remember Gravity? From Legendary, from HBO Max Legendary, which HBO canceled because they're queerphobic and racist. Gravity said, call me a hater all you want, but the quote-unquote voguing mini challenge in tomorrow's Drag Race episode is probably the most egregious and blatant example of the show's unrelenting efforts to bastardize and make a mockery of Vogue and Ballroom, from terminology to technique to framing. It's incredibly disheartening that despite several mainstream and modern depictions of ballroom coming out, RuPaul Drag Race remains committed to active misinformation and historization of the scene. Historization. Historicization. Historicization, that's a word of the day. We about to look that up. I didn't even notice that before. We might have a new word for the Melanemians. Historicize, to make historical. I'm still a little confusion. I keep telling y'all, honey, I'm smart, but I don't know every motherfucking thing. It is disheartening, Gravity. Goes without saying that this is not primarily targeted toward the queens competing, but rather toward the powers that be. Rather toward all of them, for me, Gravity. Rather towards all of them, for me. Rather towards the powers that be. Rather toward the network. Rather toward Ru. Rather toward the competitors. Fuck all y'all hoes, for real. Aja, who was a contestant, both on Legendary and Drag Race, says, I shut my ass up because I got so much for speaking up, so I ain't going to say nothing. All right, Aja, honey, you better keep your jobs and connections because it's hard out here for a pill. Excuse me. We definitely need another Vogue competition show. Shout out to ITV. Shout out to Father Yusuf Mugler for the ballroom reality show that we have coming. So far, the working title is category is. Check out my past live streams. We talked about that already. But yeah, shout out to them. I'm excited to see Ballroom come to reality from, a non-scripted base. But we need to take it back to competition because that's what Ballroom is about. So, the revolution shall be televised. And not by people who ain't really the fuck Ballroom. Bitch. Now, what is we doing that for? Who told y'all to do that?